Hi, this is CJ, and today we are going to be talking about the ways to minimize the use of doccd and command reference while you give your CCIE lab examination. We are also going to be talking about the ways to prepare for the CCIE lab, how I have prepared for my CCIE lab, and my exam is it's about 3 to 4 months away. I just hope that I clear the exam in one shot, but let's see. Okay, whenever we talk about CCI preparation, people tell us that we should be, focusing heavily on doccd. We should refer doccd like anything. So that is a good thing. You cannot ignore doccd at all. However, the reliance of doccd in the examination also increases the time spent on learning the new concepts if you have not practiced it while you're preparing for the CCIE lab examination. So the best thing that you can do is learn everything from the doccd so as to minimize its use during the exam. Okay, now let me give you an example. um, First of all, see this. So we have four vendors: INE, IP Expert, Cisco 360, Narvik. Okay, some people would be comfortable with INE, somebody comfortable with IP Expert, others would be Narvik and 360. I believe Narvik and 360 are the same. Now, stick to just one workbook, right? The reason why people jump from one workbook to another workbook, trying to see that if they missed out on something, because they only study the workbook specific topics. Now, INE, or for that matter any other INE's product is absolutely fantastic, to be honest. When the IP Expert is also great, Cisco 360 is also great because it's made by Cisco themselves. But you have to understand that not everything can be assessed or tested by these people, right? They try to, like, when some workbook can completely miss out the advertised map and BGP and stuff, right? So that when you stumble upon such technologies in other workbook, then you figure out, or then you think, okay, I did not apply my I did not test myself on this particular concept, right? So in order to be able to do that, what you can do is that, let me give you an example of BGP. All right, let's see. So router BGP 100. Oops, sorry. Router BGP 100. So first of all, you hit a question mark here. Okay, so you see, let me open a notepad. Okay, so this is a notepad. All right, this is first, then just type BGP, more commands, then type let's see, neighbor 1111, and a lot more commands. Okay, so we have few sets of commands here, right? One of the things that people do not try to, they try to get confused with is the application of the command. Okay, whether it's the global configuration command or the interface configuration command. Most of the things, this is actually a CCNP topic, but it's very much applicable in CCI because it's built onto the CCNP concepts. Most of the people do not try to understand this thing, that a command is supposed to be, a command can be found out in the global configuration mode or the interface configuration mode. Interface configuration mode will always have a subset of commands. Now, if you have to think logically, right, whether a particular command affects the entire router or you want to affect only one link, right? So if the link has to be changed, then we have to alter the the interface command. I'm sorry about those, memory usage. My computer is running a very high memory right now. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's get back to this BGP thing. So as you can see that there are three sets of command. BGP is actually the BGP. There's another major set, and then we have a truckload of commands for this. Now, suppose you are following a particular workbook, and a few commands like what? I would like to add one more. Suppose advertise map, just for example, is not covered in that workbook, and you, since it is not covered in the workbook, you have not used it. You have not learned about it. You don't even know that if it exists, right? So you try following some other book in order to be able to gain more knowledge, right? And then you stumble upon this advertised map, and you say, oh my god, I'm learning something new. Well, you are not learning something new, because I mean it is a part of the BGP, but it's something that you have not uh, tested on your own, right? You are just blindly relying on the workbook in order to be able to give you almost everything, right? That's wrong. Let me just choose the color scheme, and then just don't show this message. Keep the color scheme. Don't show this message again. Thanks. Cool. Okay. So while you are studying for a particular lab, make sure that you understand all these commands. How? Okay. Now, suppose you go at the top level. This part, I'm just going to hide it and bring it to the fore. Address family or aggregate address, right? So you go to Google, or you want to open, say, I would like to this command line, and I would also like to open this. If you're just starting out on your CCIE journey, it is best to first learn the technology before you apply it on the router, right? So you just go to cisco.com and hover the mouse on top of support, click on all products, click on technology, click on IP, and then you have a lot of things here. Routing protocol, where's the routing? IP routing, and then BGP. Learn everything about all the commands. Cisco cannot test you on commands which are not part of a particular iOS, can they? Right? There are some hidden commands, but they are hidden for some specific reasons. For example, I believe there were a couple of commands in the BGP which actually allows the I guess something like, which is completely detrimental to the regular network functionality, which can actually introduce routing loops, and I'm not sure what was the reason behind and which kind of scenario that those commands can be used. So all the hidden commands, they are not tested heavily on the exam. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure whether they can be tested because they are not very much applicable in the real world. But you should be knowing them, and they are not even 1% of the total number of commands, right? So this is the one. So you have to know about all these things. Try searching about these things. Every command, try googling them, right? And once you have gained the understanding of these commands, then you will be able to apply them. You will be able to finish the workbook in a very rapid pace. And you will not have to jump from one workbook to another workbook in order to be able to gain more information, more knowledge um, about one particular technology, right? Secondly, now let me get out of this. So if I just type IP and click on OK, oh, sorry, the question mark. See, there's so many commands, so many commands. Suppose the workbook does not test you on like these commands, just for grins, and then you stumbled upon all these questions in the exam, and you say like, I did not practice on these things, now what? So it is a good idea to type IP and then go through the list. And obviously some of the commands will be for Apple Talk and all those things, so you can safely ignore them, right? For example, CASA, CASA, this computer, CASA, you can ignore this, and you can ignore discovery mechanism, Kerberos, you can ignore this command, MR at, you can ignore this command. So you can ignore few commands, but you need to be able to know all of them, right? Similarly, if you go to the interface configuration, interface FA0 by 0, and type IP here, the list would not be as exhaustive as it was. So it's like only one page here, and then here it's got almost 2 pages, right? So you should be knowing about all these commands, right? So once you have, try exploring the CLI, right? Try exploring the command line interface to see as to where commands are. Before you jump to a technology, try to explore all these commands. The other would be, let me switch off this. Okay, the other would be TCP. Oops, IP TCP, right? So this is very important. The MSS, path discovery, all those things. You should know almost everything. And now let's talk about, say, multicast. IP multicast. Since we are issuing this command in the global mode, it will have effect on this. See, there's so much small commands, small number of commands. Now you see PIM. You should be knowing all these commands, everything, all these subcommands. And if you were to issue interface IP PIM, some of the commands are similar while others are different. See, you can change the PIM version on at the link level, but you cannot change it at the global level, right? And say IP IGMP, another set of commands. See, look at this number of commands. Go through all these, find out information about all these commands. Let's see where you can find it out. Let me just put it aside and then see. See, I make use of 15 Ti because I have a few routers in my office. All right, multicast, multicast, command reference, open multicast. It's going to take some time. Okay, let me see. Let's talk about something like BGP, command reference. Another thing that I would like to talk about is this particular link, the news, the CCIE news. Every 3 to 4 months, I think the internet has stopped working. Every 3 to 4 months, someone in in the world starts the rumor that CCI routing and switching is going to be changed and stuff like that, and people start speculating, okay, when it's going to be changed. They start asking each other, I mean, how on earth will anyone have an idea about CCIE routing and switching new curriculum, new blueprint, and the date it will come out? It is ridiculous, man. Just go to this link. Let me just open. If it gets open, come on. My net is working very slow right now. Just bear with me. Reload. Yeah, it came up finally. So this particular link has got this. 28th May was the last time Cisco came out with some information about the latest changes made to a particular track of CCIE, CCI Voice, which is now going to be CCI Collaboration. Since 28th May, they have not come out with anything. People do not see this link and they start speculating. Okay, when it's going to be changed, and which new which new protocols will be added, and all those things. I don't understand this thing. Why people talk about all those stuff on a forum when they can always come out here and check for themselves. I'm just waiting for this particular PDF to open. In the meantime, okay, yes. See, there are uh, so many commands out here. The clear IP, all this. You don't have to know each and every command because it's not humanly possible to know everything. But you should be able to, I would say, uh, you should be able to in practice all these commands that you have at your disposal, right? And then sub commands. So for example, IP, IGMP, then the sub command, and it's join group, then another sub command like 1 2 3, nope, join group 2 to 4, 2 to 2 25, then another sub command source, another sub command, right? So explore everything. So if you want to say today you start on your multicast journey, right? And the best thing that you can do is read about multicast, and before you jump onto the gear to practice labs, just explore all these commands and read about them on this particular guide. See, IP multicast TTL threshold, what it does. To configure the TTL goal, find packets being forwarded out of an interface, use the IP multicast TTL threshold command and interface. Time to live a value in hops, it can be valued from 1 to 0, 1, blah blah blah. We already know that thing. This is how it's configured. First it's going to tell you something about this command, and then it's going to tell you how it is done, right? How it is issued on the router. And let me open this, come on, mainline. Okay, mainline, and we like to open BGP. BGP is something I really like. Just wait for it to download. So I hope that you're getting an idea as to what I'm talking about. You have to explore all these commands. I wrote IP and then help. So all the IP. Practice everything. Read about all these commands, and then you will be able to not only gain a hell of knowledge, you will be able to go to the exam with confidence. Cisco CCIE is a ridiculously simple exam. Now people would say, are you nuts? No, I'm not. What makes CCI a tough exam is the money, the examination fees, right? So if you have a lot of money, then you can give multiple attempts in a calendar year, and you'll think, okay, I can give another attempt, who cares, right? But here in India, I'm talking about the Indian perspective, most of the IT guys, they get about I would say 900 to $1,000, right? And out of which their monthly expenditure is about 800. So they save only $200. They have to work for good 5 months, not five, 7.5 months, in order to be able to give the fees for CCIE. So today you flunked the exam, you have to wait for another 7.5 months to be able to take another attempt. I happen to know a trainer. She was able to clear the configuration section. She flunked the troubleshooting section, and she teaches CCIE. I mean, she's an excellent trainer. She is trying hard to save money to give the second attempt, and I'm sure that she will be able to pass this time around because she was able to go through uh, the configuration section. At this point in time, I can guarantee that I will be able to go to clear the configuration section on the fly, because I think I have a feeling that I have practiced almost everything under the sun, and as far as CCI curriculum goes, that I will be able to crack the configuration section. Now I am uh, practicing the troubleshooting a lot. I can troubleshoot stuff, but I'm just trying to gain speed in order to be able to crack it, crack one ticket in a record time. So that is the thing. But I want to be able to complete that section and then jump straight to the configuration. Okay, so I hope you got the idea as to what I'm talking about. Explore all the commands. Let me just talk about another protocol. Mm, Router OSPF 1. Once again, this is the root. Oh man. This is the root. Okay. Now come to the area. Area 1. Another one. Another huge. So this is a section that you have to understand. Then this is a section that you have to understand. In authentication, authentication is pretty simple. Let's talk about virtual link. Virtual link. Say 2222. Another set of commands. So if tomorrow you get a question that make sure that the virtual link hello interval is XYZ, then you will say, okay, I have configured virtual link, but I don't know where the hello time of virtual link hello interval is configured. So that's the way it's configured, and the task becomes ridiculously simple if you have already figured out, if you already explored all these sub menu items, right? So let's see dead interval, like 25. Then we have another hello interval and all those things, right? Similarly, this command is not heavily tested. Local rep. And if you have read the book from, I believe, this guy who has Ruhan Notes, he has actually explored all these things, all these concepts, and then put them in a book. So this is not you know something but it just penned down on its own. He has actually explored all these commands and sub commands and then compiled them and put them in a book, right? One more thing that you're supposed to do while you are learning a technology, while you're studying for your CCI examination, is that you make notes for yourself. I wish I could show you my I don't know, I have kept it somewhere. I have a whole bunch of notes which I made while I was learning a technology, like for example OSPF, everything. Whether I was trying to learn a sub technology, a sub word, like for example, I would say spanning tree port priority. So I have made a separate note for that, right? So you will be able to understand and appreciate your own notes as opposed to going through n number of blogs to be. So you have to go to the blogs in order to assimilate more knowledge and then put down in your own language. You will be able to not only revise in a timely manner, in a record time. You will be able to recall everything faster. So do make notes like OSPF, everything which you're not able to understand. For example, uh, let me see, router BGP 100, BGP DMZ. Now, BGP DMZ link. Not too many people know about this thing until they study for CCIE. It's because this particular topic is not tested in a CCNP format. So when they are studying for the CCIE, there's a very separate section for the DMZ link command application. So by the time you reach that, you have already exhausted with BGP, and then you say, oh my god, you have another thing, DMZ link, give me a break. So read about all these menu items, everything ahead of time, make notes about all these things, and then you will be able to you know appreciate the understanding, the knowledge that you have amassed by going through all these commands, all of these. So let's talk about BGP. So as you can see that it is a 200 and 546. Wow, that's a lot of pages. Most of them are, most of the commands are not applicable for CCI because this concept almost contains almost everything. So this connectionless network services for the IS to IS. Now BGP link bandwidth. Read about this command, and then you will be able to understand the DMZ link as well. Give me. This is a very good book. Update group. Let me peer group. So what is peer group? Read about all these things, the benefits of the peer group, how it minimizes the CPU cycle, and all those things. You will be able to learn these things, and you will be able to appreciate the understanding. Your understanding will go up a few notches, man. So do this thing. So once you have explored all the commands, once you have gained knowledge about that, you will not have to do read 2 to 3 workbooks in order to prepare for the CCI. You will be able to, you know, uh, just concentrate on one workbook and probably one troubleshooting workbook, and that's about it, right? So even in the CCIE lab, you will see 35 routers for the troubleshooting section. Not too many routers will have faults, right? So you try to create your, if a computer is strong enough or is powerful enough, what you can do is add like 10 routers, join them, and then create a topology and create faults on your own. Not too many routers will have faults in the exam. I'm telling you this thing from not from experience, but I have few friends who have taken CCI lab, and then they have told me this thing that only 10 to 12 at maximum will have faults. So there is no need to panic seeing a topology consisting of 35 to 40 routers. Create create a topology, create faults, and then start, you know, fixing it. Time yourself. But before you jump onto topology, troubleshooting and all, first of all, download. Uh, Let me see. Hold on. Oops. First of all, open the configuration. No, the mainline. The mainline thing. If you are, you should be having all these things with you. These things. Sans the IS to IS, this as well, these as well, and that's okay. It's fine. This if you're studying voice, and QoS, most definitely you should have this, and then you should have the command application, the command reference 12.4T. This will gonna give you concepts. This is gonna give you the command application. So the concepts are clear, and then explore the command before you jump into the configuration. Explore everything. Make sure that you have, you know, understood all these commands. So once you have understood all these commands, you won't be needing NSF because it's a 6500. switch thing. So if you have understood all these things, then you will be able to rely less on the doc CD in your exams. It's a it's a very vast course. The CCIE, we have to understand that, but we want to be able to make sure that we do not waste our time and energy in discovering new commands in the examination. That kind of time should be spent in learning the technology while you are studying for the exam, not in the exam. In the exam, your maximum time should be spent on configuring stuff or troubleshooting stuff in the troubleshooting section, right? So that's it for the doc CD. I hope you have got information as to how you can minimize the use of doc CD in the examination, like this. And let me give one last thing. Okay, line console, line VTY, line VTY 9 to 15, whatever. Now see the number of commands line VTY has got. See, look at this. Can you believe that? And we only configure what? Login local, password, or access class at best. Access class at best. When you have so many commands, look at this. Whew. You should be knowing almost all these commands. Not a big thing, not a big thing. If you know almost all these commands, then your task, you will be able to enrich yourself with so much knowledge, and you will really appreciate the hard work. Another one could be logging. Look at this, logging. Whew. And how about just tapping the question mark here and see what do we have here. So many commands. While in this list you can skip almost 45% of the 40-50% of it, because it's a compilation of everything. But Xconnect, I didn't know what Xconnect before I started studying for my CCIP. I said like, why Xconnect? And then okay, Xconnect is used for any transfer over MPLS for layer 2 VPN services. I was like, okay, there's pseudo wires and all those stuff. Yeah, pseudo wire and redundancy and all those things. So, and this is actually required in the CCIE MPLS section as well, right? So you cannot ignore this. Stun is required as well, and a lot of commands. So see, just by typing this, you see the lots and lots of commands. Whew. Don't get overwhelmed. Just try to understand these commands, their applications. We use small commands. The one which the biggest one would be IP and IPv6. Let's see how much IPv6 has got. IPv6 is like a subset of the IP, if IP is considered as a superset. So there we have it. So we have to explore the CLI to see where a particular command is placed, and what's the name of the command, and whether its command is for the global configuration or for the link. Okay, thank you.